The movie kicks off in 2063, after humans pretty much wrecked Earth. The main reasons? Pollution and wars. Because of all that, most of Earth is underwater now, and only 2 states are left. Each state wants to take over the other, so they can rule what's left of the world. We're told Earth's resources are so little, there's barely enough to keep just one state going. Both states are at the edge of the map, and between them is a camp called Sentinel. There are 4 soldiers stationed there: Cassidy, Sullivan, Bynes, and their leader Henrix. They've been stuck at the camp for 2 years, supposed to be fighting off their enemy. Their shift ended months ago, but no one's come to get them home. As you'd expect, everyone's freaking out because their food and water are about to run out, and they don't see any sign that help's on the way. One night, there's a crazy storm, and they figure it's the perfect time to go fishing. Henrix tells Bynes to go check the pipes and make sure they're all shut tight. Bynes finds the pipes have burst and water's flooding the area. He tries to fix them, but gets his hand stuck between 2 pipes, barely managing to free himself. Meanwhile, Sullivan manages to catch some fish, but then a huge wave pulls all his catch away. He gets super frustrated and runs back to camp before the water swallows him up too. The next day, the team sits down together, trying to figure out how they're going to make their food and water last longer, since it's obvious they're going to be stuck here a while. They agree to ration what they have and share everything, but Bynes totally disagrees, saying they're going to starve on these rations. He blames Sullivan for failing to catch fish the other night, since that was their one shot. Things get heated between the two, but Henrix snaps at them to quit acting like kids. It's not the time for drama. Bynes asks why they haven't sent a rescue message using their telegraph to call for help. But Henrix explains that the telegraph is only for recording updates and emergencies, not meant to be abused unless things really go south. And right now it's stable. Sullivan goes outside alone and starts scanning the sea with binoculars. He's shocked to spot a massive ship approaching from the distance. He calls Cassidy and tells her what he's seeing. Cassidy checks their coordinates. Yup, the ship is on the radar. Sullivan gets hopeful, thinking it's a rescue ship, but Henrix tells him not to get too excited, since they're probably pirates, and sends him out with a gun to check it out. Sullivan takes the small boat and heads over to the big ship. When he gets there, he calls out, but nobody answers. He arms himself and goes in to look around, and here's the shocker. The ship is totally abandoned. Looks like nobody's been there in ages. Sullivan goes down inside and finds some military uniforms. Suddenly, it clicks. This was a rescue team sent for them. But apparently, they all died before making it back. Meanwhile, Henrix is getting really anxious because Sullivan hasn't checked in since boarding the ship. He starts thinking pirates caught him and is about to blow up the ship, asking Cassidy how to arm the explosives. Cassidy is stressed, but follows his orders since he's the leader. Just before he sets the charges off, Sullivan radios in and tells him it's all clear, that nobody is on the ship. Henrix aborts the explosion. When Sullivan gets back to the camp, he tells everyone what happened. He says the ship was meant to rescue them, but something went wrong. The ship's still running, sort of, and he managed to tow it close to the camp, but it needs repairs. He suggests they should contact headquarters and tell them what's going on, but Henrix flat out refuses, saying they haven't really found anything useful yet. Everyone's annoyed by his attitude, but they have no choice but to follow his orders. Henrix then takes the ship's coordinates and writes them down. That night, Sullivan and Cassidy are talking about the whole disaster, remembering how good life used to be before people got so greedy and ruined everything. Sullivan tells Cassidy he feels like something's off. It's weird for the rescue crew to just disappear, so he sent a distress message to HQ and is waiting for a reply. Next day, they're sitting in the telegraph room waiting for a response. Henrix finds out what they did behind his back and gets mad, but they don't care. They keep waiting. After a while, a message finally comes through and Sullivan rushes to read it, only to find it's the same message he sent out. That means it never even made it to HQ. Nobody's coming for them. One day, Sullivan notices Bynes keeps going to the ship a lot, always taking his toolkit. Sullivan gets suspicious and confronts him. Bynes confesses he misses his family, dreams of seeing them again, and while they've been stuck here, he studied the ship and now knows how to fix it so they can all escape before the next storm hits. But he couldn't mention this to Henrix, knowing he'd be the first to say no. Sullivan gets excited. Maybe there's still hope. He tells Cassidy about the plan and asks her to join them and start a new life together in one of the states. Cassidy's scared at first because of Henrix, but seeing the hope in Sullivan's eyes makes her agree. Next day, Bynes and Sullivan start fixing the ship and are super happy. But as soon as they finish, Henrix shows up and calmly orders them to take apart certain parts of the ship and transfer them to HQ. They refuse because that would destroy everything they've worked for. Henrix snaps, threatens to shoot them if they don't do as he says, reminding them he's their leader and they have to follow his orders, even if their mission is technically over. Cassidy steps in, trying to calm Henrix, telling him she understands why he's upset about losing his team on the last mission, but begs him to give his crew a chance to prove themselves. After some thinking, Henrix comes around and agrees, but with some conditions. Cassidy stays with him at the camp until they take the ship and go ask HQ for help. Sullivan is upset, not wanting to leave Cassidy with Henrix, but Henrix says this was Cassidy's idea in the first place, and it's either this or no mission at all. Later, Sullivan confronts Cassidy privately, asking her again to run away with him. He doesn't want to leave her alone. Cassidy coldly tells him she doesn't love him. Whatever happened between them was just a fling. Sullivan is crushed, leaves her, and steps outside. That night, Sullivan gets ready for the mission, and Henrix walks in, hands him a piece of paper with certain coordinates, telling him to deliver this to HQ. Henrix tells him their enemy is just like them, a soldier willing to do whatever it takes, even the wrong thing, to protect his people. Sullivan is confused by this. He tries again to convince Henrix they should all escape together, but Henrix disagrees. Later, Henrix checks something on the ship's coordinates and is clearly shocked by what he discovers. He's figured out who their real enemy is. Next morning, everyone wakes up to blaring alarms. A new ship is approaching. They all scramble to get ready to fight. Cassidy tries to communicate with the new ship, but gets no response. Henrix orders his crew to fire explosives at the ship, but they can't hit it and realize it's the same ship they've seen before. They refuse to destroy it. It's their last hope to escape. But Henrix shows up, gun raised, and orders them again to blow up the ship. Bynes refuses this time, so Henrix shoots him in the ear and warns the next shot will be to his chest if he doesn't obey. Sullivan's scared for his friend, so he follows orders and blows up the ship. Bynes stands there, crushed as he watches his last hope go up in flames. At that moment, Cassidy sneaks up behind Henrix and knocks him out. They lock him in a room and she takes his explosives keys. Bynes loses it and tries to get to Henrix to take him out, but the others hold him back. He sits alone, sad and watching his son's toys he hasn't seen in so long. Meanwhile, Sullivan and Cassidy agree to send a distress message to every nearby base, hoping someone will answer. Cassidy apologizes for those harsh words earlier and admits she didn't mean it. She only said all that so Sullivan would leave because she was worried about him. Sullivan checks in on Henrix and asks why he's been acting this way, not letting anyone go home. Henrix reveals a rescue ship was supposed to arrive 3 months ago, but someone among them killed everyone on board. The traitor is just after their explosives to smuggle back to their own state. He says he was doing all of this to protect the crew from the traitor among them. Sullivan is shocked and starts suspecting everyone. That night, Cassidy shows Sullivan a picture of her and her family. She lost them all in the wars. She's the only one left. Next day, Bynes is drunk and gets into a fight with Cassidy, stealing the explosives keys from her. Cassidy rushes to tell Sullivan, worried Bynes has lost his mind and is going to blow up the camp. Sullivan tries to calm him down, finds him totally broken and hopeless. Sullivan reminds him about his family waiting for him, and eventually, Bynes comes to his senses and doesn't blow up the camp. He admits he just tried to kill Henrix earlier, but found out Henrix had thrown himself into the sea. Shocked, Sullivan runs to check the room where Henricks was locked in and confirms he's gone. Sad that he died this way. Next day, Bynes takes Cassidy on the rescue boat for a scouting trip, hoping to find anything that might save them. Before leaving, Bynes says goodbye to Sullivan, hugs him, and tells him he's finally back to who he was. While Sullivan's sitting alone, fishing, he pulls in his net and is horrified to find Henricks' dead body. There are marks on his head. It's obvious Henricks was murdered. Sullivan instantly realizes the killer is still among them. He searches Cassidy's file and discovers she's the traitor from the rival state sent to take the explosives back home. She also killed the rescue team. Sullivan's completely shocked. Sometime later, Cassidy returns to camp crying, tells Sullivan Bynes is dead and she couldn't save him. Sullivan knows she's lying, realizes she's eliminating everyone one by one to get the explosives, but hides what he knows and acts totally normal with her. The next day, Cassidy wakes up and Sullivan is gone. He contacts her via radio, tells her he knows who she is and why she's here, to take the explosives back to her state. He's rigged the camp to blow and threatens to end it for all of them. Cassidy rushes to the command room, begging him to stop. She tells him she was forced to do this to save her people from starvation, and says she really did love him and didn't want to hurt anyone. Sullivan doesn't care, gets ready to blow the camp, but suddenly nothing happens. Turns out Bynes, before he died, programmed the explosives not to go off because he knew his friends might harm themselves in a moment of weakness. After Sullivan has calmed down, he sits with Cassidy and finally listens to her. They're now stranded together on the island, and the only way out is to help each other, or just live out their lives together on the island. And that's how the movie ends.